If you live somewhere the sun comes up late in winter, you already know the specific feeling. The alarm goes off and it's black outside. It stays black while you shower, while you eat, while you leave the house. By the time there's any light in the sky, you've already been awake for 2 hours, and none of them felt like morning. The usual advice is to caffeinate harder. So let's deal with that first, because it's in the title. The Nordic countries drink more coffee than anyone on Earth. Finland is #1 globally, around 12 to 13 kilos per person per year, which works out to roughly 4 cups a day if you average it across everyone, including children. Norway and Sweden are right behind. Finnish labor law actually guarantees workers a coffee break. If coffee solved dark mornings, they'd have solved it. They drink the most, and they still needed everything else in this video. 5 habits from places where the sun genuinely doesn't come up for weeks. And one of them isn't a habit at all. It's a piece of infrastructure, and it might be the most important thing here. Start with the thing underneath all the others, because without it, the rest is just cold weather. In 2014, a researcher named Kari Leibowitz went to Tromsø in northern Norway on a Fulbright scholarship. Tromsø sits far enough above the Arctic Circle that the sun does not rise at all from November to January. Not gets dark early, does not rise. She expected to study seasonal depression. What she found was that rates of winter depression there were lower than you'd predict from the climate and the darkness alone. And the people who did best had something in common she started calling a wintertime mindset. They thought of winter as a season with its own content. Things you can only do then, a particular kind of light, a particular kind of evening, rather than as a stretch of the year to be endured until it ends. 2 things need saying here, and I'd rather say them than sell you something. The first, this is a correlation. Nobody has shown that deciding to like winter cures anything. Seasonal affective disorder is real, it's a clinical condition, and it's treated with real treatment. Nothing in this video replaces that. The second, the mindset didn't come from nowhere. It's easier to think of winter as having its own content when your town is actually built to give it some, which is the rest of the list. Second, light as something you place deliberately rather than something you flip on. Denmark burns more candles per person than any country in Europe, roughly 5.8 kilos of wax per person per year. The second place country, Austria, is around 3. It isn't close. And the point isn't the candle. It's that when the sun gives you 6 usable hours, the light in a room stops being a utility and starts being something you compose. A lamp low in a corner instead of a bright fixture on the ceiling. A candle on the table at 4 in the afternoon because that's when it gets dark, not because there's an occasion. Now the honest part, and it's a real cost, not a footnote. Danish research on indoor air found that burning candles for about 2 hours a day accounts for close to 2/3 of all ultrafine particle pollution inside Danish homes. 1 block candle can put out something like 7 times the particles you'd get from traffic on one of the country's busiest roads. Candles also produce nitrogen dioxide. I'm not telling you to throw them out. I'm telling you the coziest object in the Nordic winter is also the dirtiest thing in the room, that this is measured rather than speculated, and that the fix is unglamorous. Open a window sometimes. The habit that transfers is deliberate low light, and a lamp does that without the particles. Third, going outside regardless, Friluftsliv, open-air living. You've probably met the slogan version. There's no bad weather, only bad clothing. The practice underneath it is more ordinary than the slogan suggests. It means a walk happens, whether or not it's pleasant. It means the default answer to a free hour is outdoors. Two things about this word that the lifestyle articles skip. It has an author and a date. Friluftsliv was coined by the playwright Henrik Ibsen in 1859 in a poem. It is not an ancient folk instinct. It's a 19th century idea that caught on, which is a different and frankly more interesting thing. And it has legal backing. Norway's Outdoor Recreation Act, Utlemannsretten, passed in 1957, gives you the right to walk, camp, and forage across almost any uncultivated land in the country, including land somebody owns. The habit of going outside is much easier to keep when there is legally somewhere to go. Fourth, and this is the one that tends to stop people who haven't seen it. Across Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, it is unremarkable for a baby to take a nap outdoors, in a pram, in winter, below freezing. Not as an endurance test, as the normal way naps happen. You'll see prams parked outside a café, while the parents sit inside with a window on them. The tradition goes back to the early 20th century, and the reasoning is straightforward. Fresh air is thought to produce longer, deeper sleep than a warm indoor room. Babies go out in a flu-veddrakt, an insulated waterproof all-in-one, and somebody is nearby the whole time, usually with a monitor. Let me be clear that I am not recommending you do this. Norms around infant sleep differ between countries for real reasons, and this one only works with equipment, supervision, and a culture that knows how to do it safely. I'm including it because of what it reveals. This is a place where cold air is not treated as a threat to be sealed out. It's treated as ordinary, even useful. Once a culture believes that at the level of infants, an adult walking to work in the dark stops looking like hardship and starts looking like Tuesday. Fifth, and I said one item on this list isn't really a habit. Here it is. 62% of people in Copenhagen commute to work or school by bicycle. 3 out of 4 keep riding through the winter, in the dark, in the cold, often in the wet. Every article about this treats it as a story about willpower. It isn't. When it snows in Copenhagen, the bike lanes are cleared before the roads. That's the whole thing. Somebody sat in a meeting and decided that on the worst morning of the year, the person on the bicycle gets priority over the person in the car. Everything that looks like Danish grit on a February morning is standing on top of that decision. And to keep it honest, winter cycling distances still drop by around 40% compared to the warm months. They're not superhuman. They're just not abandoned by their own city when the weather turns. 5 things. Treat winter as a season with its own content, not a sentence to serve. Place your light on purpose. Go outside anyway. Stop treating cold air as a threat, and notice who clears the path. 4 of those are things you can decide. The 5th is something a city decides for you. So what actually transfers? The mindset does, and it's free, but it's also the one most likely to be sold to you as magic. Deciding that winter has its own content. A kind of evening you don't get in June, food that only makes sense when it's cold, genuinely changes how the season feels. It does not treat seasonal affective disorder. If your winter is clinical rather than merely dark, the thing that transfers is seeing a doctor. And I'd rather say that plainly than leave it implied. Deliberate light transfers completely, and you should take the version without the smoke. Low lamps, warm bulbs, light placed at eye level instead of blasted from the ceiling. If you like candles, keep them and open a window. The Danish research is about ventilation as much as it is about wax. Friluftsliv transfers about halfway. The habit is portable. The legal right to walk across the countryside is not. If you don't have somewhere to go, the honest first step isn't a mindset. It's finding the nearest place you're actually allowed to be, once, before you try to make it a routine. The prams do not transfer, and I'd leave that one alone entirely. And the last one is the point of the whole video. If your morning commute in the dark is miserable, some meaningful part of that is not a personal failure of grit. It's a road that got cleared before the path did. You can still choose the coat and the walk and the lamp. Those are yours. But when the advice you're reading is, just be more Nordic about it, it's worth knowing that a real part of being Nordic about it is having a city that decided the dark morning was its problem too.